William ZAPEDA versus SHAKUR Stevenson. Fight coming up July 12th. Figure we go ahead and talk about it. What I think about this fight, I think it's a catch-22 fight for SHAKUR Stevenson. I think it's not a matter of if SHAKUR Stevenson can beat ZAPEDA. That's not it. SHAKUR's mission in his career is to become a headliner, somebody that people want to see fight and that they look as somebody that's exciting enough to headline a fight. So that's what basically he's fighting to establish. And kind of like Boots, but SHAKUR hasn't really been able to swing the pendulum in the other direction for himself. This fight could do that. However, the issues with SHAKUR Stevenson is, like I said, it's not a matter of a question if SHAKUR Stevenson can win. We know definitely he can win. It's how he's going to win. And being that, you know, Turkey Al-Sheik's current, you know, comments about running and stuff like that and, you know, wanting entertaining fights, it leaves SHAKUR in kind of a predicament. Meaning, how is he going to win? See, the issue is not can SHAKUR beat him and pick him apart. We know that he can pick him apart, but ZAPEDA has the ability to make SHAKUR look boring or make SHAKUR put on a bad performance. Due to the fact when it comes to SHAKUR, he's great on the outside, but he suffers on the inside. You know, can he stay in the pocket? And as you can see, SHAKUR Stevenson doesn't like engaging in the pocket. So he's always going to be on the outside. He's always going to stay inside of his range. And that could go back to giving people a fight that they may not want to see. So to me, in order to make a statement, of course, you got to stop ZAPEDA, but you got to stop him pretty early, and you got to stop him, I would say, within 6 or 7 rounds. I say that because to me, with SHAKUR, his biggest problem, his biggest fear is a 12-round fight. Not saying SHAKUR is a front runner. He's not that, but he's not a finisher. And since he's not a finisher, at some point in the fight, he doesn't know what to do with the person to break him down to get him out there. So he's known to stall out the clock. And once again, that can go back to having an uneventful fight and people complaining about him engaging. And this is about him becoming a headliner and him becoming an attraction. To me, what he's going to have to do to maintain both, meaning to get everything that he needs out of this fight. Remember, it's not about the win. It's about how he wins. He's going to have to show more of a defense. He's really going to have to slip punches, and he's going to learn how to learn how to slip going forward, or try to slip going forward, meaning it has to look something like what Floyd did in this fight. You know, very defensive, but yet still slipping punches and staying in the pocket and still coming forward and still countering off whatever his opponent is doing. It's going to have to look something like that, because one thing Gervonta Davis was correct about is about SHAKUR Stevenson's so-called defense. I mean, he says it's really not defense, it's just him just jumping back, and he still jump back and he still goes back into straight lines. That's something that he needs to break the habit of. But if ZAPEDA want to make him look bad, the only thing he has to do is stay inside SHAKUR's chest, because SHAKUR has made it painfully obvious that he doesn't want an ugly fight. So what are you going to do with somebody like SHAKUR, who's good on the outside, who's good at pot shotting and all that other stuff? What are you going to do? You're going to stay inside of his chest. You're going to try to make him fight on the inside, and that could put him on his back foot, and that could put him on what some boxing fans would call on his bike. So he's going to have to establish himself, and he's going to have to stand his ground somewhere in the fight and fight off and work off what ZAPEDA is giving him. You know, without that, he's going to have another performance in which people are going to criticize, in which he's going to get it anyway. But at least to a certain degree, he can shut people up in the same way Boots did, by putting on a stellar performance and doing it the right way. But going 12 rounds and all that stuff, it's not going to get him the reputation in which he seeks, the reputation in which he speaks of on the internet. And that's SHAKUR's biggest flaw. He doesn't fight like he talks. And if he speaks like he actually fights, the expectation of him being Mike Tyson won't be there because he won't put it out there in the air. You know, he needs to stand on, he's a slick, crafty fighter. I use my brain. I'm a wizard. You know, he needs to rely more on that than I'm the baddest man on the planet. Can't nobody touch me. I'm this, that, and the third. I'll knock him out. I'll do this. I'll stop him. Can't nobody hang with me. When you step inside the ring, the expectation of everything that you said, people want to see that in the flesh. People want to see that play out in the physical. And when you don't do that, then you leave it open for criticism. Now, he's already open for criticism because how boxing is set up and how we treat American fighters. You know, but he burnt his bridge as far as the support that he's supposed to get when those type of people stand up and try to discredit his win. So that's why, to me, it's a catch-22 fight. And for him to get everything that he needs from this fight, he needs to learn how to be himself, but learn how to stand his ground when he's in the pocket, and don't be so too defensive that he's so good of jumping in and out of range. You know, that's not what people like, you know, and not saying he has to change his style, but he's not really slipping. He's not really rolling any punches. He's just basically jumping out the way. He has the athleticism to do it. But as you see, you can apply skill to that, to where it doesn't have to be so much of an athletic thing, and it could be more of a IQ thing, and stand your ground and learn how to bang. Now, if he can't do that, ZAPEDA can make it very ugly. And if he let the fight go on, it can get very ugly. And this is why some people, this is a coin toss up for them. Some people say it's a 50-50. So if you hear it's a 50-50, this is why. But truthfully, this is supposed to be SHAKUR Stevenson all day long. But it's how he gets it done is what's really on the line here. So that's my thoughts on this. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Vane, I'm out.